Good morning, class. My name is Mrs. Tabolka, and I wanted to start off by introducing myself. I have two kids. I have a husband, a dog, chickens, and a cat. I actually have nine chickens. We live in Louisiana. Before that we lived in Dallas, and before that I grew up in Atlanta and went to the University of Georgia, and I have two kids. I love spending time with my family, studying language, reading, traveling, spending time with my husband. And I love teaching. Last summer, I got the opportunity to go with my kids to Yogi Bear Jellystone Park. That was really fun. And I mostly teach math, but I have taught reading as well. We're going to work on a virtual lesson today in math, and it's going to be a fourth grade lesson. And our learning target is that we are decomposing fractions as a sum of unit fractions using tape diagrams. So we're going to add fractions. What part of the first circle that you see right here is shaded? What part is shaded? Well, one is shaded out of how many total? The top one is called our numerator, and the total at the bottom is our denominator. So we call this not 1 over 2, we call this 1/2. The next one here, we have 1 shaded, which is our numerator, out of how many total? Good, 4. And the final one, how many do we have shaded? Good, 1 out of 3, and we call that 1/3. So 1/2, 1/4, and 1/3. Okay. If we add two fractions together, let's add 1/2 and 1/4. As you can see, they do not have the same denominator. So when that happens, we have to break the half into fourths or the fourth into halves. And right now, I'm going to break the half into fourths. So 1/2 is how many fourths? Well, 1/2 is equivalent or equal to 2/4. They are the same because it takes up the same amount of space. 1/2 is the same as 2/4. So if we add 1/4 plus 1/2, which we now know to be 2/4, we get, well, we keep the denominator the same, which is fourths. We don't add the denominator, but we add the numerator. 1 and 2 gives us 3. And we'll go more into that. But today, we're adding fractions that have like denominators. Okay, we're moving on to our next. So we're going to slide 11. All right, it says we are decomposing using a tape diagram. So at the top, you can see that we have 1, but it is broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And how many are shaded? Good. There's 2 shaded out of the whole amount. What is the whole amount? Well, the whole amount would be that we have 2 shaded out of our whole amount, which is 5. Our whole amount is right here where we put the line across, which shows us 1. These 5 pieces is 1 whole. The shaded part represents how many are shaded, which is 2. And each one, okay, this is important. Each one is 1 out of 5. So if we have 1/5 plus 1/5, we get how many fifths out of 5? Well, we get 2/5 because again, our denominator stays the same and we add 1/5 and 1/5, the two that are shaded, which gives us 2/5. Okay. Again, let's look at this tape diagram. We have one hole, which includes 4 that are shaded and 5, and the 5th one is not shaded. So that would be what? Good. That would be 4 shaded out of 5. But each individual one would be 1/5. And then you would add the next one. Plus, this is 1/5. Plus another one. Oh, is that 1? No, we have 2 together. So that is 2/5. And if we add them together, again, our denominator stays a 5th because that's how many pieces it's broken into. And we have 2 and 1 and 1, which is 4/5. So our unit fraction, this is called our unit fraction, would be 1/5. So if we are decomposing 4/5, we are decomposing it into 1/5 plus 1/5 plus, you could do 1/5 and 1/5, but because they put it together, we're doing 2/5. Next, we have another whole, but then we have one more after the whole. And this is where things get interesting. So your denominator is only out of 1, whatever the whole is. So that extra one does not count towards your denominator. So right here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how many are in our denominator because that's out of 1. So our denominator is fifths, not sixths, because it counts on where one whole would be. So out of fifths, let's see how many are at the first. 1 and 2 would make 2/5. Again, we have 1 and 2, which makes 2/5. Again, 2/5. And if we add them together, that should give us how many fifths we have. Well, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6/5, which means we have more than one whole. We have a whole and one more. So that'd be 1 and 1/5 or 6/5. So here they're asking you to make the tape diagram. So let's try that here. We're going to make sixths because that is what our denominator is broken into. So I'm going to break it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And all of that equals to one whole. Okay. And each sixth is going to be, they want us to do 1/6. And then 2/6. And don't forget to put your addition sign because we are adding them together. Plus 3/6. Okay, and we're going to shade those in. Shade them in with our highlighter here. 1/6, and then 2/6, and then another 3/6 equals, let's add the bottoms. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6. 6. Anything over itself equals what? How many are shaded? A whole. So any number over itself is going to equal 1. And we can see here that 6/6 is one whole when we shade it. Okay, so let's do 4, 6, and 4, 6, which gives us 8, 6. Let's draw it. So we are going to do sixths. And remember, sixth is a one whole because that's our denominator. So I'm going to color in sixth. Okay. And I'm going to color in, I'm going to make another sixth because we have more than one whole because one whole is is sixths. Okay. So I'm going to color in my sixths and I have 4 sixths, and then I have another 4 sixths. And each of those makes what 6 sixths makes, as we know, a whole, and 6 sixths makes, as we know, a whole. So if we have 4 sixths, and we have 4 sixths, we have how many sixths? We have 8 sixths. Good. Because our numerator is how many are shaded and our denominator is how many are equal to one whole. Okay. Now it is your turn to turn these. Look, we have one whole, and then we have 1/3 and 1/3 and 1/3. So how much is shaded? Good, the whole thing. So 3/3 is one whole. And they actually made right here a number bond and they broke it up into 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3 to show you 3/3 makes one whole shaded. If I had a candy bar and I had 3 pieces and I had 3 friends, I'd give 1/3 to you, 1/3 to you, and 1/3 to your friend. Now let's look at the next one. This one does not have a whole shaded. So tell me, how much is it the total amount? Good. It's out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's fifths equals our whole. And how many are shaded? Well, on our unit fraction for our first one, we have 1/5. And then our second one, we have how many there? We have 3/5, which gives us our total of 4/5. Thank you so much for working with me today. And if you have any questions, feel free to come talk to me and ask me. I love answering questions.